So from these project oriented sessions, what actually you can expect here? How actually project will start. Once if you enter into company, in a company, if while doing projects, how they will get project initially, after getting project, what actually they will do, then finally how to do the development as a developer, finally how to do testing, all these, how to maintain, everything you should understand here. In case of project, getting project from client, first the project we need to get from the client, a vendor company or a consultant. First, they will get a project requirement from clients. Clients are like your American Express or Citibank. These kind of clients, they will raise some heat tickets initially. If they require any modifications in their existing applications, or else if they require a new application. Citibank people, or else American Express people, or else any other. American Express. And we have many clients. So these clients already they may have applications in C or C++ or .NET. In that application, if they find any issues, then that client company developer or that client company tester or that client company user, Citibank user or Citibank client tester, they will hire some developers and some project managers for what? To maintain their application. So in their application, if developers, if they find any problems on existing application, what actually they will do? This developer or tester or user, they will raise some heat tickets. They will raise first heat ticket. If they find any problems, if they find any issues or any future enhancements requirement, if it is there for application, what they will do? They will raise one heat ticket. They will raise one heat ticket to their team leads or to their managers or their director. They will inform that heat ticket to their managers. They will raise heat ticket and they will send that heat ticket to their team leads, or they may send that one to their project managers, or they may send to director. Once if they find any problem in their existing projects, that client side developers, client side testers, client side users, if they find any issues or if they required any feature enhancements, if they required any new features, they will raise one heat ticket. Through that heat ticket, they will raise their issues and they will inform that issues to the team leads or project managers or to their director. Once if they required enhancements, or if they confirm these issues resolves, if they want to resolve the issues or if they want to provide feature enhancements, then they will send the confirmation to the people. They will send the confirmation to the next level people. That next level people, here team lead or that manager, they will inform this heat ticket to director or manager or team lead. Those people, they will inform to business analyst, BA. They will report to BA. So then business analyst, he need to analyze again his business. If I do any modifications, that modifications, will they give any benefits to our application? Will they provide any benefits to our application? Will they increase any business for my existing application? Everything he need to analyze. If there are any benefits, if you find any issues, then this business analyst, he need to send to the next level, to the system architect. Then system architect, what he need to do? He need to design complete SRS. Software? Software? SRS, requirement specification. SRS he need to design. Complete SRS he need to design. He need to design SRS. Complete SRS he need to design. I mean your requirements, your application requirements he need to write. A requirement specification he need to write under SRS documentation. That SRS documentation he need to send to the manager again. He need to send that SRS documentation to the manager or to the directors. To the manager, or they need to inform it to the directors. Then the directors, once if they confirm about this SRS, they need to call the vendor companies. They need to call the vendor companies. Okay, before calling vendor companies, these managers or directors, what they need to do, again this documentation, this SRS documentation, they need to keep SRS documentation, and again they need to call business analyst. Again BA, what he need to do, he need to find resources, required number of resources, and billing details. Billings, he need to find required number of resources. For example, if it is enhancement, or if it is existing project, simple modifications. If you want to do any enhancements, for doing that enhancements, how many resources we required, how much amount we need to invest, how many developers we required. Under resources, what he will find, how many developers, how many skilled developers we required. How many developers we required? It can be 5 or 10 or 100. Based on your requirement, this BA will analyze, expect BA will analyze the resources. After finding resources, he will generate billing also. I mean, he will find the estimation cost. Estimation, he will find the estimation. If in case to make these modifications, if their estimation, if it is something $200 or $2,000, if we estimate $2,000, within that estimation only vendor company need to develop this application. So after completion of all these, they will call the vendors. These client people, they will call the vendors and they will conduct some client meetings, vendor meetings. They will conduct some vendor meetings. These client people, Citibank people, they will call the vendors. Citibank people, if he is a client, this client will call all the vendors. Vendors are like your TCS, Capgemini, and iGate, Patni. We have many vendor companies. So vendors, or else you can call them like consultants. These all are consultants. Consultant. They will call all these consultants. Client will call consultants to make application. Once if they call consultants, they will conduct some meetings. They will explain all their requirements. These Citibank people, they will explain all his requirements to all these peoples through online or through live meetings. They will explain all the requirements to the TCS people and Capgemini and to iGate, whatever the vendors came to the meeting. For them, they will explain all the requirements. After listening all the requirements, your client or this person, consultant person, what they need to do? Actually, from consultant, who will come to that meetings? Business analyst. BA only will go to these meetings. That BA person, business analyst, this business analyst, he need to prepare one document. After completion of that meeting, he need to prepare one document. That consultant need to prepare one document from consultant side, consultant or your vendor. This vendor consultant, BA, need to prepare one document, minute of meeting. Minute of meeting he need to prepare. Minute of meeting. In that minute of meeting, what he need to, in this minute of meeting document, what he need to send? He need to prepare 1 minute of minute of meeting document. He need to prepare a minute of meeting document. The document they need to send to client people. What actually he understand from that meeting. They will explain their required enhancements or requirements. From that requirements, what actually he understand. That things he need to prepare a minute of meeting he need to prepare, a document he need to prepare. How much time they will give to make this minute of meeting? After completion of your meeting, they may provide up to half an hour or 1 hour to prepare this document. Within that time, whatever the things you understand from that meeting, that things you need to send to again client person. You need to send this to client people. Client people. If he is satisfied with your minute of meeting, then what he will call for the next documentation. He will call the business analyst for the next documentation. We need to send PP, project proposal. Within 1 or 2 days we need to send this project proposal. Who will send? Business analyst only will discuss with their consultant, developers, their managers. He will discuss with their team leads. He will discuss with their managers and directors. Finally, he will prepare one project planning, project proposal document. That project proposal document he will send on next level. First, initially, after completion of meeting, he need to send a then next he need to send a PP, project proposal document he need to send to the client. If he is satisfied about your project proposal document, again they will call for the next documentation. That next documentation what we have to provide? KT. Knowledge, transition, knowledge transition document. Knowledge transition document we need to prepare. That document we need to send. To send this document they may give 1 week if it is a small project. After preparing your knowledge transition document, you need to send to client. Once if he is satisfied about your proposals, then they will ask us for SRS. Until completing SRS, they will not pay single rupee also to us. We need to provide SRS also. If they interested about our KT, then they will ask us SRS from consultant. So these consultant people, they need to prepare SRS documentation. Who will prepare? The system architect from your vendor. Architect, he will prepare SRS documentation and he need to send to client. If your SRS proposal also, if it is fine for their application, if your SRS proposal also if it is fine, in SRS what we need to provide? System architect, he need to provide some designs. If the designs are okay for that application, then they will do the agreement with vendor people. Finally, they will make agreements, business agreements. Finally, BA will propose project cost and estimations. Again, business analyst will propose. He will propose the cost and estimation. Cost, estimation cost and resources, number of resources they required. They will send in one document, business resource documentation. They will prepare one business resource documentation. Through that business resource documentation, BA will send business resource and billing. We can call it as business BF or business functional requirements. Again they will prepare one business functional requirement documentation. That one they will send to client people. In that BFR what they will provide? The cost and the estimation and the required number of resources. Everything they will put under BFR and they will send to finally client. Then after completion of this, they will do the agreements. Business agreements. While doing this business agreement, along with this business analyst, from client side business analyst, From vendor side business analyst and from client side business analyst. They both will go to these business agreements. If their business agreement, if it is fine, through lawyers or through some civil people, they will make that agreements confirmation. They will confirm their agreements and they will start the development. Once if you want to start the development, then under development again what we have to do as a developer, as a architect. Once if they confirm the project, what we have to do? Again we have to do SRS. Complete SRS we have to design. Complete SRS documentation we have to prepare. Already if it is exist, then by using that SRS documentation, we need to start the analysis. We need to start the analysis and we need to do the designing, development, testing, deployment. All these phases we need to maintain after completion of this agreement, after confirming project to our consultant or to our vendor. We need to start the documentation. We need to start the SRS. By using what we need to start our life cycles? We need to use some software, SDLC model, software designing life cycle models. Some SDLC models we have to use. The most popular SDLC model is waterfall model, but it is not recommended. Waterfall model is most popular one, and but it is not recommended. And prototype, we have prototype model, and we have one model V model, and spiral, and agile. So agile is a popular one. Agile model is the popular one to do SDLC phases. Actually we know about this waterfall and prototypes, all these. In case of waterfall, how the life cycle will start? First we need to start analysis. Which analysis we need to do here? System analysis, requirement analysis we have to do here. Who will do this? Architect. System architect will do this. System architect, after completion of business, we no need to interact with BS. After confirming our business, we no need to interact with again BS. So system architect will do the analysis. So in this analysis he will find system requirements, and functional requirements. System requirements and functional requirements. All these requirements he will find. After completion of finding requirement analysis, after completion of analysis, then next phase will start. The next phase is designing phase. Who will do the designing? Designing phase, again architect. System architect will do the designing. Under designing what we have to provide? Under designing we have to provide complete UMLs. UML designings we have to provide. In that UMLs we have to provide entity modeling we have to provide, and ORM modeling they have to provide, and use case models, and what they need to send, what they need to provide. We have some sequences, collaborations. So those kind of designs they need to provide. Sequence models, collaborations. Those things they need to provide under designing documentation. Under designing documentation, after getting all these, we need to start implementation. Who will do this implementation part? developer will involve in this phase, implementation. When coming to the implementation, developer will participate here. Developer will start the implementation. Here they will do the coding. They will code here. So by using what they will do the coding? In this coding phase, they will choose first programming language, required programming language. Is it Java suitable or PHP suitable or .NET suitable? So if they find required programming language, by using that programming language, they will make their application. So if they required coding, they may do by using Java. If they required .NET, by using .NET. If they required PHP, by using PHP. Any programming language they can use here, C, C++. After doing this coding, it will go to testing phase. So in this phase, tester will participate. For doing testing, tester will participate. If you find any bugs, again he need to send it to the developer. If developer find any issues, designing phase. They need to inform to the designing phase. Under designing, if you find any issues, you need to inform to the analysis phase. In case of issues, we need to report to the next levels. In case if you find any bugs here, you need to inform to the implementation people. If they find any bugs while doing coding, confirmly the designing is wrong designing. So they need to send to the designing. In case if they find any issues here, they need to send to the analysis people. So what they need to do, after completion of analysis, they need to cross check it multiple times. And they need to come to the confirmation that analysis is good. If it is good analysis, they need to send to the next level. If the designing is successful designing, how we can confirm the designing is failure design or successful design? After doing entity model, some sample queries we need to write down database and we need to test. Is that queries it can able to handle or not, we need to check. Some sample queries. On complex entities you need to do this. In case if it is success, then you need to send it to the next level. So after completion of designing itself, again here also they need to test. They need to test. On each level they need to test this. If their entity modeling, if it is fine, then they need to send it to the implementation part. Under implementation part, after completion of implementation part, coding part, they need to send to the next level, testing. If they find any issues, they need to inform, or else finally they need to send to the deploying state, deploying. After doing deployment, maintenance. Maintenance support also we have to provide. After doing deployment, maintenance support also we have to provide. In case as per our agreement, maintenance if it is there in our agreement for 1 year or for 2 years or for 10 years. If you have agreement for the maintenance support also we have to provide after doing deployment. But this model is not suitable for applications. Why it is not suitable? If your application duration, if it is 3 months, if it is 3 months duration, so in this 3 months duration, you need to assign some time to the architect. For architect, if you give time 10 days, then the remaining people, how many people we have here? System architect, again developers and testers we have here. So they need to wait until completing this analysis. They need to wait. If they hired for the particular project, they need to wait until completing analysis. And if it come to the next phase, for doing designing, again if you take 10 days, 20 days they need to wait. Developer and tester, he need to wait 20 days. For doing development, if you take some 2 months of time, some 2 months time if you take, up to the 2 months, this tester need to wait. Particularly if they take that resources for that particular project, they need to wait until completing this. Finally, they will assign that coding to the tester. Then in last 10 days, he need to do the testing. Instead of waiting while doing analysis, instead of waiting here designer, while doing designing, instead of waiting developer here, while doing development, no need to wait tester here. So in case if you don't want wait them, this model is not suitable. And in case if they have any feature requirements, if client once again if we call for the feature enhancement, within that project if we call for feature enhancement, after completion of designing, when it is in coding phase, if you ask for the new requirements, then again we have to go back, there we need to make the modifications. Instead of doing modifications after going to the coding phase, if you use agile model, in case of agile model also is similar like your waterfall model only. It is a small waterfall model, agile model. So in case of agile model, your complete task, if they assign task to us, that task we need to divide into multiple subtasks. Task 1, task 2, multiple modules. We need to divide it into multiple modules. Task 4. Then for each task we need to start designing, analysis, designing, implementation, testing and deployment. We need to test it. Deployment after completion of complete project we need to do. Meanwhile, first task 1 we need to start analysis. So it may take some 2 days or 3 days. So here while doing analysis for this task, we can assign developer after 2 days. Developer can start his job. So to develop this task, if you take 10 days, to develop this task, then we can assign tester for again 2 days. So this 2 days only, here tester need to wait up to 12 days instead of waiting this 2.5 months. Instead of waiting 2.5 months, this testing phase tester, he need to wait only 12 days. Again if you start one more task, here again for this task again designing, again we have to provide analysis, development, testing, again analysis, development, testing, Parallelly we can finish multiple tasks. We can assign it to multiple teams. Parallelly we can complete this multiple tasks. You can assign this task to one team, you can assign this task to one team, you can assign this one to one team. Parallelly we can complete, and we can take less time also here. Instead of spending these many days, 3 months, we can finish it within 10 days or 15 days. If you divide it into multiple tasks, multiple modules, by dividing your application into multiple modules, you can reduce the time. In case if you are doing through modules, if you have multiple modules in our application, better to use agile model here. By using agile model, we can divide task into multiple subtasks. Parallelly we can complete all the tasks. Parallelly we can complete task 1, task 2, task 3. So for each task you can use same waterfall model. Task 1, task 2, task 3. So for task 1 you can use same model. For task 2 also you can use same model. For task 3 also you can use same model. Instead of doing complete project analysis at a time, instead of doing complete project designing at a time, take some simple tasks, do the designings, do the analysis, do the designing, do the implementation and testing. It may take less time when compared with waterfall model. And in case if you required any feature enhancements after completion of first module, if you ask, then you can take that feature enhancement as a last task, and for that task also you can provide analysis, again designing, and you can provide implementation and testings. No need to again do the analysis in case if they required, in case of agile model. So agile model is the recommended model for for making application. By using agile model we can make application. By using agile only we need to design our SRS, our SDLC life cycles we need to design by using agile. If it is agile, within less time we can make application, and as well as feature enhancements also if they required we can provide. So here if I start project, that project I'll show you through agile model, and the projects for making project for UI and for controller part, Here for presentation and controller part, I'll use here struts. Then coming to business part, in business part, to provide services and to provide business. Here we can use Spring for transaction support, security, and to provide JMS kind of things, services. We can use Spring, and for business layer also we can use Spring here. For this layer by using Spring, I'll show you how to develop. And for the back end DAO layer, data access part, here you can make by using Hibernate or any other ORM also we can use here. So finally we are going to do the project by using this struts and Spring and Hibernate, 3 combination. After completion of our analysis, I'll start coding. I'll show you the coding in struts and Spring and Hibernate combination. So here for UI part we can take struts. You can use struts here or else Spring. It is your choice. We can use struts or Spring for UI. Spring MVC you can use or struts MVC also you can use here for making presentations and controller part. Struts also popular one. By using struts you can provide presentation to controller support, or else by using Spring MVC also you can do this. By using Spring MVC also you can provide support here. Then for making business layer for transaction security JMS, instead of using EasyBiz, by using Spring also we can provide here. So here to provide the services we can use Spring here, and to provide business layer you can use Spring. Okay, these all will include under business part only. So for all these we can use Spring. For persistence layer, for DAO part we can use Hibernate, or else Spring also we can use here. If you require Spring, ORM also we can use. By using Spring ORM also we can make DAO part. So first, from where we need to start? First of all we need to start from analysis. Once if you take a requirement, once if you take a enhancement for the existing project, or if it is a new project, we need to start from analysis phase. Here clients and vendors, everything is only here. So here you need to take one requirement. After taking one requirement, for that requirement we need to do the analysis, designing, implementation, testing, everything. And while doing that we need to follow some life cycles here. We need to follow some life cycles, either waterfall or you can use agile life cycles. By using that life cycles we need to do the implementation. Okay, so here my proposal, I want to make one project, some car rental application name for car rental. What we can use? Something I want to name it supercar. For car rental application, in case if anyone, if they required a car for a day or per hour basis or for monthly basis, if they want, if they reserve a car, that car booking website I want to prepare, car rental site. Okay, so for this car rental site we can start analysis from tomorrow. Before going to analysis, I'll show you completely about agile model. Okay, in agile model how many phases we have, in that phases how need to perform. After completion of that agile model, I'll start the implementation. For the implementation it may take 1 week. For doing design it may take 1 week time. So within one week we can complete the designing, within 1 week we can complete the implementation. Overall it may take 15 working days. Okay, within 15 working days we can finish the complete implementation on struts and Spring and Hibernate. I'll show you JMS and security transaction implementations also here. Okay, in real time what in which manner we have to use all these, and what actually we have to provide for controller, and how to provide web services support while doing application. I mean, if it is a new application, must we need to provide web services support also here. That's why for the new applications, mostly they are recommending us to make in Spring MVC. Spring MVC can handle web services, but not struts. In struts, we don't have that support. Struts servlet, I mean, in struts we have one front controller servlet. I think you know about this. That front controller servlet, it can't able to handle web services. But in Spring we have one front controller servlet, dispatcher servlet. That servlet name is dispatcher servlet. It can handle web services. That's why companies, they are forcing people to make application in Spring MVC for the feature scope. In case if you required web services support, Spring MVC can provide. But we don't have that support in struts. Okay? Once if you complete the designing, then we can confirm how we need to use Spring MVC or struts. Okay? Mostly I may need to use, we may use here Spring MVC. In case if you required struts also we can use here. But struts is not that much recommended for presentation layer. Okay? So by using complete Spring MVC and Spring Business and by using complete Spring ORM, I'll do the application here. Okay? After completion of our analysis.